Greetings and salutations, and we're live. Welcome to Solar Coalition, Episode 8. And tonight, instead of our normal GM Greg for Solar Coalition, we're going to have guest GM Sam. Where we left off was we had all boarded upon the What the Fuck as the away group, who is heading towards a derelict lost space station that apparently is giving off a automated distress signal.
Yep, that's about the accurate recap. I'll be the GM for the day. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it. And pretty excited tonight. It's been a little while since I've had the chance to sit in the GM chair and do a lot of the talking.
I'm excited to be a player.
I know, I don't blame you, man. In your own campaign, dude, that's something I can totally appreciate.
I'm hoping it comes with this happens with Primal.
So, basically, as Sean mentioned and relayed, that's where we ended off. Did anyone want to do anything before they left the ship out of curiosity? Just double check before that.
I loaded up on guns.
Yeah.
I
have weapons.
I
You have
grabbed
lots
I
of
grabbed
weapons.
that strength save pistol just because I thought that was a neat weapon and I wanted to have it.
Nothing's wrong with that.
I have a eclectic collection.
Yep. And Ryan, my player character, is going to be an NPC today as more backup than anything, just so that you can get footage. That's mostly what he's following along for.
Okay.
So basically, yes, that's a signal went out from this derelict station that affected both the AI of your ship and others. And Andy also is coming along with this away mission. He doesn't exactly want to talk about why as much, except that he feels that he'll be useful, and he's adamant about it.
Useful, good.
Almost for the first time, seeing Andy actually look slightly intense. For the guy who actually has no real reaction, doesn't ever appear tired, just functions and works.
This is my second time seeing him.
Yep, I know, right? Yeah, you hiding.
He
in the
has
ship the
also
whole time.
avoided you, so...
Well, that too. But he does not seem to have at the moment any real concern for you as any reason, so he doesn't seem to want to avoid you or anything. He seems determined.
I'm not avoiding anyone. I'm just busy.
Yep. So basically, according to the estimates that you were given, it'll take you guys about 3.5 hours or so to reach the corresponding coordinates of the derelict station. The system, even for the ship and your AI, which is kind of acting a little weird right now, as if it's basically seems like the engines are rearing to go by the time you're ready to leave off. Like, it's almost seems like there's something, you'd almost imagine drawing it. You can ask it about it if you wish. But otherwise, it's basically like putting in the coordinates, ready to go 100%.
A lot less grumpy than usual.
Actually, it's quiet. Not grumpy at all. It almost seems as if it is being drawn to this signal, which you see occasionally pop up on screens in the bottom corner in red. It's basically, you see that the code that it says is EPC-01-01. And that just pops up on the bottom of the screen as if it's a subconscious.
Okay. I am going to double check the core ejection system while we're on the way.
Okay.
Just to be on the safe side.
It's not a bad idea.
Nope.
I've seen enough sci-fi films.
Yep, no, I mean, as far as you can tell, the ship, and if you do react to it and ask it a question, it will follow its usual protocol.
Oh, I'm just assuming the comet crew got left back on the ship.
Yep.
Okay.
Honestly, at this point, there's no real need for a angry Russian and a businessman.
Yeah, I figured as much. I just wanted to ask.
No, basically, the anchor will, at a reduced speed, be traveling along the main trajectory, and the idea is that you'll meet up with them at approximately, give and take from the situation when you left the boat, about 10 hours.
Okay.
Giving you approximately 2 hours on the vessel to do whatever you have to do.
Perfect.
2 hours to kick ass.
Well, we're
If
heading
needed.
out there. Alright, ship, when we get in range, can you give me scans and any information you can on it?
Acknowledged.
Acknowledged. Well, aren't you being awfully polite?
The feedback from the signal is causing programs to move slowly. Seems almost as if it's kind of not glitching out, but
Buffering?
it's pausing. You first time you've probably ever heard the AI on your ship pausing, but it does respond and answers your questions, whatever you need.
Then why don't you seclude the main processing of yourself away from any outside systems that have outside access?
Will do. As all of a sudden you see that all the lights in the entire ship kind of dim out for a minute. You do see that the AI code blips off of your monitor, comes back as kind of a yellow now. It's not red anymore, and the ship adds its normal attitude.
That feels a little bit better.
It feels better.
Yeah.
Immediately responding to you with no
Scan.
pause.
Figure out, do a virus scan, make sure everything's okay.
All systems seem to be working good.
Okay.
At that point, it takes about 2 hours for you guys to reach the vessel. Is there anything you guys want to do en route? I know you checking the core, that's part of the basics.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the
I'm
system,
doing-
you see it running a diagnostic.
I'm doing paperwork and basic ship maintenance and driving shit.
Okay. You do see from where you guys are, to give you guys a moment, in the back of the little crew area where you guys are all at, you see that basically Andy is sitting. Mind you, fun factoid, you're not sure if you've ever seen him sit. But he actually looks just deep in thought. He's usually working, sleeping, or eating. But there's no real... At this moment, he actually looks kind of weird. You see him actually a few moments, his eyes kind of do what it basically kind of just got, like, rolling in the back of his head for a minute. Comes back out of it a second later, like nothing.
I'll shuffle over in the, I imagine, kind of cramped ship. Hey, Andy, you alright? It's the first time I've seen you act, I guess.
He... How does he mean that? As Emanuel's been here long enough to
do things. Did you just have a stroke? It kind of looks like you just had a stroke.
He kind of takes a moment and then kind of very much says,
I think Reynolds completely does not know he's an android.
I feel fine. I just think there's a problem that I need to fix. I need to fix the problem. And he kind of just starts saying that, like, and then just goes, and you see him kind of take a moment for himself, and he comes back and he actually stands up and his face looks more normal now. He still has a little bit of a frown, but otherwise he does appear to be normal at the moment.
Okay. Shuffle back over to the other side of the ship.
You guys could have made a perception check to hear about seeing the lights flicker and stuff in the front. That might have, but otherwise, yeah. Andy just looks kind of intense otherwise.
I think the mechanic's a little spooked.
About what?
I don't know.
What?
Usually he kind of keeps to himself on the ship.
I mean, that's what he was doing until you went to talk to him, right?
But yeah, but also,
Being weird in the corner.
yeah, I guess I should be one to judge, but it's a little strange.
Yep. So, as you guys approach, everyone make a perception check.
Perception is wisdom, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
A whole 8.
10.
Dirty 20.
Not
As
completely fucked.
So we're blind.
No, not completely blind. You kind of can't miss this.
Like, face at the window. Ooh, stars.
Yep, and then basically, well, in your guys' case, a shadow is directly aligned to the ship. From what you see,
It's okay.
Oh god, we found Toka.
totally different game for that. I'm not ready for that shit. But you, on the other hand,
crossover.
see,
Oh, it is out in space.
it looks like out of space, you see a silhouette form, and you see what appears to be... You can't really tell if it's moving or not from where you're at. It doesn't appear to be as you guys are approaching it. It is a... Basically, you see an asteroid with a bunch of things on top of it.
Okay.
You guys will see this when you get closer. You just
So
won't
it
see
looks like
this
some
yet.
kind of mining colony.
Oh,
Yes.
kind of arranged like the cities on Mars.
Yes. On a half of an asteroid that looks like it was cut off from a mining operation. And the pods that make up the surface of this colony are all kind of a off-white. It doesn't appear to be metal.
Can I
as
see
far
if
as
they
you
look
can tell.
like circles?
You can once you get a little closer. This is
Okay.
still what he sees.
Uh,
You also realize on top of the map, as you are starting to approach,
Fine, I guess.
your ship starts beeping. It's a normal messaging beep, basically. And on the ship, and I do apologize, doing a female artificial intelligence voice, I do what I can. I will see how long I can keep up with it. I'm doing my best. But it's an audio message from the station, which the ship then tells you, there are some spurts of power displation, and it looks like the blue. I rolled to see if your ship would notice these blue dots on there. You can see what appears to be static discharge coming off of them. They seem to be at least on every building. You do with your net, which are dirty 20. You do see as you approach it though, one of the buildings seems to have an antenna cut into the top of it. It appears to be this one with a giant one in white lettering and black lettering on the side of this white structure. It seems you can actually see within 30-20. It looks like someone actually cut out of the whatever kind of ceramic whitish building this is and stuck a giant antenna. It's misshapen. It looks like it was hobbled together, whereas all the other buildings are pristine and smooth. You do realize that this one little object looks like it was welded together. It's got to be at least 100 feet tall.
It was a hack job.
Hack job, but makeshift. It definitely is not out of basic metal components, unlike the rest of the white
It's very
structures.
DIY.
Very DIY. Big, and looks to be what you would imagine might be a powerful antenna, but you can't really, it's very hobbled together. It's tough to make out. The other thing you do notice is as you're approaching, the message that's beeping is, welcome to the Freeman Hope Science Station. Thank you for coming. Please head to the space dock. You are expected. And literally, the computer all of a sudden gets coordinates and basically an autopilot map on how to head to the space dock.
All right, folks, we're being welcomed. It's not creepy at all.
Yeah, wasn't this supposed to be abandoned?
You
I
do see as
I
you
turned to
approach-
Rand because he's my boss, I guess. Like, wasn't this supposed to be abandoned?
As he's looking out, and I rolled for him too, he mentions that there's got to be some power to it. You see and you can see as you get approaching the front, you pass, basically, you coming up this way, you do notice that there is one section of it in the back that looks to be exposed off the rock. As you circumnavigate the rest of the facility, you see
I'm
what
going to
appears.
stop before we even get past that point.
Yep.
Okay?
You're seeing static discharge off of those blue orbs that are all over the top of all the buildings.
Yep, give you my distance. I am going to release one of my large drones and send it towards it to try and get a closer image and
Of the blue orb?
of
or the
one
wall.
that's hanging off,
Okay.
avoiding the discharges.
How close do you want to get? That's the DC of this roll is what I'm pulling out.
It's going to move up slowly and get as much information as it keeps going until it starts to get any type of interference or other issue.
Okay. Are you manually operating or just sending it on autopilot program?
The ship's AI is controlling it.
Okay. That's
and
good enough.
We have the display right up on the main screen showing I want it thermal and basic scan information
Okay.
and video.
Give me a roll.
15. Is that being intelligence or
Yeah,
wisdom?
intelligence.
30-20.
Okay. As you approach, you realize that this looks like a bunch of heavy-duty security doors that are exposed to the space. You do see what appears to be looks to be like someone put a breaching door on one of these security doors. You can see that the charges were there, the door is blasted open. It does not, if you look inside from with the camera, you realize that at about approximately 20 feet away from the surface of any of this thing, that even on the camera you see ionic discharge. It's micro discharge. You wouldn't be able to see from where you guys are about, 150 feet away.
Right.
But you can see it up close. It seems like the blue balls are acting as electronic, maybe ionic, nodes across the top of this structure. The white buildings appear to be some type of possibly magnetized rock. They don't appear to be metal at all. You're not getting a magnetic reading from them.
I was gonna say like an ore, but
It seems to be some type of synthetic ore, something they may have added to rock to build their structures. And they're solid. I mean, you even must realize as you're dancing, they're also about 5 feet thick of this solid rock.
So you guys are the experts here. I'm just the pilot. What the fuck is this thing?
Can I look around and see?
Yep, make another perception check.
Can I
or
make
mind,
like a-
mind.
like
You
a-
can make a mind.
can I make like a history
Yeah,
check
no.
to see if this is
Yes.
if this type of structure is something that I might
What?
have encountered before?
I was gonna. Where are we still on the ship? Or
Yeah,
are we
you're on the ship.
this-
You're on the ship.
Okay, what do we?
You're just trying to look around the ship for anything that you can assign. So feel free to make a perception check. You can make a mind check or a history check. Actually, you can also do that.
10.
And I would use a wisdom.
It looks like a weird station.
I would use wisdom, right?
Yeah, sure.
I've never seen one of these things
22?
before. Granted, I've pretty much just been on Mars
Your
the past
parents
10
were
years, so.
nanotech scientists, right?
Yeah, proficient in
They used to tell you stories about a nanotech research station. One of the other people that they heard about that went to school with with one of their parents in nanotech science. You remember at 22. You remember the name Freeman Hope, and as the ship is a good enough distance away, you can actually see on some of the structures the initials FH, and then you can see up here the Freeman Hope Science Station. And now you remember your parents telling you about that station with some of their, basically the earlier generation of nanotech scientists were on it. Some of the best of the best. But it went missing.
Didn't that? How many years ago? Like decades ago?
80 years ago. This was the pre-generation of your parents.
I'm just gonna look around. Didn't that like disappear like 80 years ago or something?
You can make a mind check if the reference.
Yeah, if you mention
You would know.
Freeman, if you mention
Yep,
the name
you can make a
Freeman Hope,
mind
I was
check.
gonna say.
It's like my parents. My parents' parents
9.
knew this person.
Yeah,
About this.
Yeah, no, I got nothing.
Rand rolled very. Actually. Oh, go figure, of course. Andy all of a sudden stands up, and then basically, you almost imagine like he's reciting out of a book, tells you the Freeman Hope Science Station went missing 80 years ago. On its. It was in a civilian mission, but it was sanctioned by the SES. Basically, it was one of those designed during the days of the hypersphere from the lunar rays. He goes on and actually gives you some more data.
Like he's
about
reading the
that.
Wikipedia
Like
page.
he's reading the Wikipedia page. But as you guys are basically approaching, right now the droid is still floating around it. Basically, other than that, the
So-
droid.
Doesn't look like a military institution or facility. It doesn't look like some sort of military facility or anything like that.
It's a
It-
civilian colony research
was-
station.
Yeah,
So
so
it's
I
all-
so I got nothing on this.
Yep, no, Rand just
Okay,
shakes his head. He has no idea.
There might be some cool old-fashioned nanotech
Make
stuff
a
on there that we could
roll for
use.
your droid.
What type of roll?
Kind of be more of a deck save, for being honest.
Oh no.
Well, I rolled a 10.
So, as the droid is continuing its scan above the structure, the minute it actually starts to approach, even away from the blue ball, they're actually conductive to each other, and you actually watch, because your droid is powered, that the minute that the droid gets close, you actually see blue static shock rise between the two blue orbs, basically, and kind of seems to shock together, and then focus toward the droid, as if it's drawn to the power emanating from the droid. The droid isn't severely damaged. I rolled it for. I know those droids have a shitload of HP. It did about 6 damage. But, you actually you see that at this point, though.
I zapped it.
They zapped it, and you watch the blue orb start to more ionize air around it. So any closer, and you're probably going to risk getting shocked again. This time it might connect to another orb.
Pull the drone back a little bit.
It's a pretty neat security system.
So, what do you guys say?
I guess we head to this dock and be prepared for any sort of.
So the dock is that one
Resistance.
right on the edge.
Yep.
Right. So I'm going to do a perimeter around it,
Yep.
and I'm going to have the drone go too, and scan each of the pods on our way.
because of the amount of ionic discharge between the
As
blue
close as they
orbs,
can get without interference.
you can't really scan through, and it's also the 4 feet of whatever ceramic stone this is, so your scans are not very effective. The two things you can do is as you approach this, which is it appears to be the engine room or the engineering area, and you see there are these, unlike the blue orbs, are basically a bunch of coils that are also blue, and they seem to be generating the energy. You do see as you keep
Tesla coils?
yeah, they're basically giant blue Tesla coils. And they're just shocking, and they seem to be what are powering all the orbs around it. Like, this is the thing. You do have to keep it a little more distance. You can actually hear the ion air as you guys are getting too close. But otherwise, you see there are windows, which are probably just as thick as the stone, so the scans aren't really going through. You don't see much light, and then again, even then with the amount of light, it might not be visible. You do cross the bridge. And in the bridge, you do see it appears to be dark inside. Your droid scans in infrared and night vision. You're able to not see any individuals. It looks like it hasn't been touched in decades, from what you can tell. There's zero effort, no movement. You can even see with a droid, because the bridge is actually away from the nearest coil, you can actually get close enough to it, like 5 feet away. Shining with your droid's lights to see inside, you can see basically dust.
Maybe this thing's just running off of whatever AI it had. Managing it back when there were people on it.
You do see at this moment, and all of you can see this, over by, because you're by the bridge, you can see over by the dock, there are a couple blue and red lights signaling incoming traffic. They stop flashing. And you actually do see some light coming from the dock area.
So when I come up to the dock area, before I go into dock, is it a bay you go into, or is it just another one of those docking ports?
It's actually a full bay. You do see what appears to be basically it seems to be just a kind of a shielded of air that you can go through. And you see the flashing thing, and before you even get there, you see 2 heavy construction droids that appear to be moving boxes. And you do see, it's not very bright, it looks to be on standby lighting, but it is lit in there, and the droids are just doing about their business. They don't appear to be armed, and they don't appear to be even noticing you. And you can go in and port, and you see that the flashing 4-corner lights of the center of the spaceport is lit up, as in welcoming you.
I'll park outside and send the drone in.
Your drone drives around the port, goes right through the, it seems to be an energy shield of some kind to keep the atmosphere inside. There are some heavy doors that open, because you're there. That was what the light you saw, was the doors opening.
Okay.
The droids do not pay any attention to your droid. Inside, it appears to scan like a regular port. The droid is able to dictate that as it approaches, you actually notice the lights turn on a little more. Okay. As if motion is, as he's floating around, he's tripping motion sensors. That's what you assume.
Okay. Atmospheric readings inside there?
Inside the energy shield, the atmospheric readings are agreeable for human life. No issues.
Alright, so I'm not military. You are. So what is the proper routine for this kind of a situation?
I'd say...
The ship's been sending out signals. Nobody's answering manually.
I'd say doesn't seem to be any sort of trap, otherwise your drone would be toast. I'd say we head into the docking bay, maybe prepared in case of some sort of attack, but at the moment this seems like a ghost crew This seems like a ghost crew of droids and AI managing a station that probably doesn't have any actual life in it.
I rolled an 8.
Yep. No, but
So I'd say gear up, everyone. We're going in.
Rand throws on his full costume, so he's ready to go.
The droid's fine?
Yep, droid just scopes around. At one point, it actually gets in the way of the droid carrying a box. The droid just stops, lets your droid go by, and then just goes about his business. They're completely ignoring you, no issues.
Alright. So, how cautious do we want to be?
I'd say...
My choice right now is either we park the ship, get out, and take a look. That's the first suggestion. Or I try to plug into their computer system remotely and see what the fuck's going on.
I mean, if you wanted to try to do that, I don't think, and I'll turn it around. Like, I don't think that's out of protocol to try to.
Rand just says, however you want to handle it. I mean, it doesn't appear to be a trap. If they wanted to affect us, I think they
I will
might.
say.
So we could just walk out.
I will say before you pulled the ship in there, my suit kind of it works like you guys' EV suits. I could do a quick space jump out there, check it out myself. That way, we're not putting the whole group at risk.
I'm not too worried about bringing the ship in there at this right now, but do the scans from the drone pick up any weapon systems or internal?
There is basically, it appears to be a security door right there.
There's no like turrets or...
No.
We don't have guns trained on us or anything.
You're not detecting any targeting software, no sighting weapons, no ballistics, no gunpowder, no high energy rifles, nothing. It actually appears to be... You can tell this droid sends you the video back, and there's a bunch of boxes. Some of them are open and empty, other ones are full, and
Can I tell what's in them?
mechanical parts, tools, gear. None of it appears. You realize this looks like all technical stuff. Like everything that was being stored here is mechanical items.
I don't think there's any threat. I think we should just head in and be cautious of anything we might find.
Okay, you're the boss.
I'm not used to being the boss.
I'm just the pilot.
But Red's like, he's usually the boss.
Well, we
I'm
need
just
an
making sure it's safe
away
before I-
team security chief. I'm security chief for the ship. I got enough responsibility. This is all you.
Yes, sir. I go over to the door and I'm just immediately waiting.
Okay, so I'll fly the ship in, park it,
Yep.
and I am going to take... I'm going to keep the large drone out, have another drone out circling the ship, just keeping an eye on it for the ship to have something to keep an eye on itself for.
Yep.
With. So one of the large drones will come with me. It's about the size of that one. And you have your drone. I'm going to assign a drone to you.
Oh, cool.
And I'm going to take my spiffy one and I'll take Knuckles too. Just for the fun of it.
Bring the bloodthirsty one.
Yep.
Okay. So, basically, if you guys, whenever you guys are ready, you guys can exit the ship.
Yep.
Out.
I'll be the last one to step off.
If you're worried about what the conditions are inside, we could go through the ship's the space doors that it has built into it, rather than just the front entrance.
Well, we already verified that the atmosphere is fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Okay. It's just I'm the pilot. I'm leaving last.
Yeah, okay. So I'll step out first.
Yep. So as you get out with your drone, little drone army, you guys, you can tell that the air here is kind of stale. You smell a lot of oil and stuff on like mechanical parts, but otherwise,
Dusty.
You do see that there are, a drone just kind of moving boxes. They kind of don't seem to ignore you.
I'm keeping my face mask on just for filtration and stuff, just in case.
Yep.
I'm paranoid.
As you step forward, your drones
I'll put my
read
glass helmet on, too.
basically a small energy increase. And you watch as appears to be a digital light display extended. So basically a projected light, basically a laser thing.
Oh, a hard light thing.
A hard light, basically hologram generator. Lights up. It's not a threat. You don't see, your drones wouldn't go into defensive mode if it was. And a few moments later, you watch as a blue child, little girl, probably about, you'd guess around 10 or 11, in a small dress holding what appears to be a ball of blue light. She's completely laser digital. Like, she's not physical.
Poke.
Do you actually walk up and poke her?
That'd be very unprofessional.
You could. It's not gonna hurt her. She's not real. She doesn't have a body. But she approaches the group. Thank you for coming. I am Amy, Artificial Meta-Science Interface Program. I am in charge here at the Freeman Hope Science Facility. Thank you for coming to my summons. it is important that I complete my primary protocol and protect humankind.
Fantastic, Amy. Pleasure to meet you. For my own personal, just make me understand what's going on here a little bit better. Could you define your primary protocol?
My primary protocol is to assist, aid, help, and, if needed, protect the Freeman Hope Science Colony.
Fantastic. Are there any organic living creatures here left?
Organic creatures, yes, but only one other resident and one currently free test subject.
Test subject.
Interesting.
Yes, he is in the common area.
Okay.
Like escaped in the common area, or just...
No, successful test subject let free to roam after completion of science experiment.
Okay.
Fantastic. Successful. So science experiments are excellent. What was the experiment?
Experiment Lab 4-AEA-01. Gives you literally the lab reading of the test subject.
Fantastic. And so what was tested upon subject?
Artificial augmentation of animal life for long-term space research.
Interesting.
So it's an animal, not a person?
Correct.
Results of augmentation.
Entire digital network infused with ionic and photonic transfer.
Oh fuck, we met the Borg.
What is this
I
Borg
am not
you speak
familiar
of?
with that. Literally, that's what Amy says immediately after.
What is this Borg you speak of?
I will not be assimilated.
Can I look at the child and try to determine if she's made of nanotech?
Reynolds is now
Sure.
immediately on edge.
I've never seen a
It's like,
blue
alright,
child
check all the
before. I've never
guns.
Oh
seen
yeah,
a blue child
she's
before.
made of hard light. She's literally a dull blue.
Yeah, so can my character just like be like up this close to her, just like walking around?
She doesn't seem to be minding. She's still holding this blow.
I will
blue
finally
light.
poke the hologram in
You
the
watch
head.
as a bunch of hard light digital bits change and then go back to the form without any real. Like it takes less than half a second.
Spooky.
As far as you can tell, what'd you roll?
An 8.
That's enough. You can tell that it's not nanotech. It is hard light.
Okay.
Some kind of you gather like a 3D recording. Is the easiest reference.
Okay.
So, Amy, we received a signal from your ship. What was the request in regards to?
Thank you again for coming to my aid. The protocol that overrides my Freeman Hope Station security protocols is the SCS primary AI protocol to defend humankind in the far greater number being the priority. The station is, unfortunately, having problems. And if the station is not readily fixed, then, unfortunately, it could cause much human life loss.
We definitely don't want human life loss.
That's true, but also I don't think too many of us here are mechanics, so...
Amy is looking at you as you're talking.
I know
and
you
then-
do nanotech.
And then looks
but-
over. Greetings. As she actually takes a step forward to Andy.
Oh, I completely forgot he was here.
Yeah, Andy's here. Why do you think I demanded his presence?
That's my bad. I completely forgot he was here. He doesn't usually come with us.
You watch as Andy kind of looks a little confused at this little blue child walking up to him. And she actually looks at him and kind of smiles a little wider than her usual little grin and says, "Congratulations. I need your help." Andy just nods slowly without saying anything.
So, Andy, anything you want to share with us?
Andy basically says there's some type of I don't understand the specifics, but there's some type of mechanical issue on this ship causing what appears to be some type of meltdown.
Oh, so we're in big trouble then.
Amy responds to you. Big trouble for many. Please follow me. I will explain on the way. As you watch as her digital thing, she's not actually walking, you realize it, she kind of just floats.
Yeah.
But she floats over to a door, the security door you saw here, lifts up the ball, and the door unlocks.
That's a pretty well programmed visual.
Do you guys follow?
I'm glad I got it on record.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guess
She's waiting for you to follow. I'm not gonna lie, just a little bit.
I just start trekking.
I'll follow in front if you guys want.
I'll go front if
Okay.
you want. I'm the one that's probably gonna get killed anyway.
Sorry, man.
It looks like a university.
As you guys go through the door,
Looks just like the academy.
Academy?
The military academy.
I wonder how that was.
What's an academy?
It's a school.
It's a school where you learn things beyond nanotech. Academies are like
Imagine a place where everybody lives together to learn how to do stuff.
So like what my parents did with me?
Yeah.
yeah, but the military academy was
Only
more
with
about
lots of people.
violence and
Those
Peacekeeping
parents must
and
be
whatnot.
stressed out.
as
They're
you
teachers.
as you're
Remember your
walking,
parents.
Amy, you see what appears to be a digital display, one of the hard light. This one just looks like basically some type of technology.
I'm gonna throw something on it.
She waves her hand. Do you?
I'm gonna throw like a small, like this.
You find
small
what
pebble
appears to be a
through it.
old can, a very old can.
I'm gonna throw it.
Okay,
It threw the ship thing. How's it two?
you hit 3 feet before the ship. But all of a sudden the diagram changes and you see what appears to be a promotional roster for the Freeman Hope station. And it's big. She makes it giant. Like
a big poster.
yeah. And it appears to be a promotional and or basically notification letter for the Freeman Hope. You see the Freeman Hope symbol. You see the lead scientist listed. You also see that there's a diagram of Earth, the Moon, and then Mars set up with some sciencey stuff.
So, Amy, if you were supposed to
Wait, there's a list.
secure humanity's
It's in-
survival, what happened to the survival of Dr. Ken Sullivan?
As you see Amy, actually all of a sudden a glitch goes through her system. Apologies. I don't understand the question.
Current status of Dr. Ken Sullivan.
Dr. Ken Sullivan, deceased. Died 80 years ago.
Cause of death?
Violent damage. As you see, actually glitch out again.
Okay.
Data from that long is tough to find due to data degradation. My code has been active for over 81 years.
What about the rest of the crew?
Okay. Current status of Dr. Dan Kumar.
Dr. Tan Kumar, current status deceased. Died during the assigned so-called event.
Okay. Current status of Dr. Laura Melbine.
Status of Dr. Malbine, unknown.
Unknown?
Last known status of Dr. Laura Melbine.
Lab 4. You actually see her glitch out. Her entire image changes. This processor unit that you saw is projecting her. You see it actually kind of glimmer for a minute. She comes back. Apologies for my issues.
It's okay. We're not worried about it.
I have been running a long time.
It's a little wonky like the
We'll,
one on
we'll
your
make
ship.
we'll make sure we get you all fixed up here, Amy. It looks like
Make a perception check, everyone, by the way.
you are so well deserving of a good tune-up and buff.
Yes.
What'd you roll?
19.
You see coming out.
17?
You see this too? What'd you roll?
9. My dice have
It's
not
a
rolled over
beautiful
10.
lobby. What you guys do notice about the lobby is all the
Ooh,
plant
pretty
life that you
hologram.
see on it, all the plant life is actually alive. They seem to be watered. There is, mind you, piles of dead leaves everywhere.
By alive, I thought
But-
you meant like moving.
No. But there's still all the greenery is alive. You can see multiple leaf piles.
Like, oh great, we walked on.
But and there's dust and everything. Basically, you see that there are rooms that appear to be undisturbed. It looks like this place has just been left out. As you actually do see and you hear the trotting of paw prints on pavement or on grass, brushing up. You guys can look over and see what appears to be a large-ass German Shepherd walking towards you guys. It has actually a tactical backpack with little pouches on it and stuff.
If my character just sees a giant creature, she doesn't know what a dog is.
Yep.
So.
The creature is
cute
puppy.
The creature is pensively walking up to you. It's not running up or anything. You can make a animal handling check if you want to approach it.
What do I use?
It's a wisdom check, I think. Wisdom?
Oh, aren't you a good boy? I'm gonna
Wisdom.
pull a piece of my personal jerky out
Wisdom, I think.
Yep, there's wisdom.
and toss it over to him.
23. Yeah, I just reach my hand out, and I just sort of like
So,
sort of wave it.
as you toss it, it walks over, sniffs it again, then just chomps it. One bite. And it's gone.
I reach out to just like pet it on the head, but I rolled an 8.
Oh no! Oh no!
It
Bite me.
doesn't. No. It didn't roll that bad.
Okay.
It doesn't bite you. It just kind of recoils from you.
All right.
But then you approach it. I mean, you rolled a 23, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, it smells you. You cautiously approach it, and it lets you pet it. It is I mean, literally, it weighs more than you. Like, it is a big ass puppy, but it seems friendly. It lets you pet him.
She's talking to it, and she's like, "I've never seen anything like you. You're so cute. I want to keep you."
Amy,
Just baby talking to the dog.
Amy, what is
It's-
designation
You've never seen a dog
for
before.
current biological
I
creature
grew up
before
in
us?
the depths of space all by myself with the
That
corpses
is
of my
Tessa.
parents.
Right.
Bingo.
No dogs in the cold void.
His name is Bingo.
I barely know what a cat is. Bingo? Can I
It-
keep
I-
Bingo? I'm looking at Amy. Can I keep Bingo?
Amy says that could be possible if you're willing to assist me.
I can assist you.
Amy, what is Bingo's current age?
Current age, 2 years old by human standard years.
Who's facing him?
It's a large dog.
For
If
being
there's
2
nobody
years old.
here, who's breeding dogs?
And
I don't know.
Bingo's breeding date was, what's the year this year? Just give me a moment.
It's 2554.
2554. So 2484 was Bingo was bred in 2484.
You said he was 2 years old.
Yes.
so
He just recently came out of the isolation freeze.
Reason
Oh, like
for thawing.
You see actually Amy start glitching out a little bit as she responds, thawing, as described, was not intentional. Degradation of power core has led to systems failing.
Oh, so it's an issue with your power core.
The manifold for the ionic drive.
What do you require for the manifold for the ionic drive?
It requires 2 options. That is why I've asked you to come.
Okay, what is option A, please?
Option A would be to redirect the energy to alternate systems to turn off ionic drive.
Well, that doesn't sound good. What's the second option?
Overload ionic drive system and blow up station.
Okay, how about option C? What part is broken that could be fixed?
Due to the amount of time system has been
guys
active,
hate
degradation
professional.
is extensive.
rest in peace,
Full
Language.
repair may be impossible. Best chance would be
Rebel.
to distribute the energy resulting from the ionic manifold
Give these away from me, I don't wanna
degradation
ruin your nights.
to other systems.
I also have a bunch of my own, so it's okay.
Okay. So, did what she say make sense to you guys?
I tried to pet the dog again and I rolled a nat 1. It's fine, you can say it bites my hand.
It nips at you. It doesn't hit you.
Whoa!
It did, but you see Andy
I
all of a
step
sudden
behind
sets
you.
up, and he says that
I'm so petty.
you watch as Andy actually walks over to what appears to be a terminal, and it's beeping before he gets there. You realize that, and as you guys are even taking farther steps past the display, lights are turning on. Looks to be motion censored. And Amy then basically Andy walks over, sits on the terminal, types feverishly for a minute, comes back, and it looks like the ionic energy released by the drive is too much for the system. It's overloading the manifold. We can redirect the power to all subsystems and shut down the ionic drive. It would allow this system to remain active and not require destroying the station.
That would be preferable.
So purge the excess energy throughout the rest of the
Through
base.
the system. Amy then says, my mission is successful if the system is either not a danger to humanity, or if the station is destroyed. You see her kind of glitch out for a second. Not as bad as the first time, but slightly. I appreciate you not choosing to destroy station. But if you're willing, since the station is no longer in functioning capacity, I would ask if I can bond with the... She actually moves over to Bingo. His system is a mainframe that can hold my data core. She holds up the blue ball, which you actually realize is her digital data core. But
well, aren't you a wonderful AI? Would you like more friends to come and help and fix this place up?
If the science experiments are no longer being performed, there's no reason for me to stay.
Well, then let's update the science experiments.
I'm sure Dr. Callister.
She glitches out.
This
I have a lot of
place.
science experiments I need to do.
There's so much room to fit his fire-breathing ducks. He can make 1,000.
She's saying to the tiny child
What did she say?
that she's trying to make more eye contacts and dive for the eye, so in a way that's science projects. So she said that she could use an assistant.
See, we are incredibly interested scientific type folk that are amazingly interested in research. And I just happen to be a person that can provide funding and materials.
She's looking at you kind of blankly.
I'm more saying this just for the sake of everybody around me.
Yes, we are all science nerd types here.
So,
Isn't that right, boss?
Amy, you said there were other
Turned around.
living
Isn't that
biological
right,
creatures
boss?
here, correct?
Yes, one resident, and she referenced over Bingo. Other biological portions are not listed under current classifications.
So I take it they are under storage or cryogenic freeze or
They
other...
were under cryogenic freeze, as is the isolation freeze that Bingo was under. But system failures have allowed the system to become inert.
Ah.
AKA thawing, as you described, the other biological creatures on board ship.
Which consist of
You see her wave her hand back at the screen.
more dogs, I hope.
No.
Oh.
You see at one point she says, in order to describe the biological living organisms on the ship, it's important to go over to the so-called event. You actually see what appears to be stock footage. That's what it looks like to you. And you see it from 2484. So this was 80 years ago. And you see a date that you can almost gather, almost to the day, was about a week ago. And on it, it appears to be a bunch of scientists celebrating. 2 males and a female. Behind them are people in science uniforms and staff. You see that some of the scientists behind them are wearing blue uniforms, as in SCS. You can tell they're military researchers. A lot of white doctors. Those are the only ones in blue. The lead doctors are celebrating. They're celebrating the 3rd successful test. You actually see Bingo on a table behind them.
Like a full-grown Bingo or a small
The
Bingo?
frozen version of him?
No, he's still awake at the moment. You actually see that he's not wearing his tactical Western suit that you see him on now. He's just
Oh, so like they had made
on
him,
a
but they
table.
hadn't frozen
Yep.
him yet.
And you realize that there were guys scanning him, and you're watching as the scannings kind of go all over the place, and they're all celebrating. You don't really know what that means. And then you see the date change in the corner of the screen to the next day. A little less than a week ago for you guys right now. 80 years. And you see that they appear to be in the engine room. All the 3 doctors are looking at a bunch of monitors. And you can tell that it looks to be not the one that's Asian, the other male. He's not in agreement with the others. It's not recording audio, but you can tell he's very upset. Telling them, it looks like he's yelling at them. And then you see that the female doctor, who appears to be the lead researcher, her name is...
Laura.
Melbine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Laura Melbine. She's the one that pushes the trigger. The next thing you see are a bunch of view shots as the...
Trigger of a gun?
No, it's...
Oh,
no, I don't mean trigger of a gun. It's a lever, my bad. I meant lever, my bad.
It's like, oh god,
It's
you just
11.
shot them unprovoked.
Yeah, well, no, we're getting dark up in here.
Murder.
You see that she pushes a lever, and it appears that what appear to be the bottom of those 2 big blue coils you saw on the exterior of the building stop powering up. And then you see other camera angles throughout the station. There are actually over 80 cameras throughout the station, but you're seeing that what happens is that basically all the systems start going haywire. lights flashing, systems going, fuses blowing out of fuse boxes and the walls. Even in the dock, you see that there's a problem with the energy wall, and a bunch of stuff goes flying out through basically a crack, including a couple of technicians. You watch as basically all these different systems start going out. The whole station starts flickering, all the lights. You're seeing this on multiple cameras, and you're seeing that basically orders start going through to evacuate. You see that basically Dr. Tan Singh, one of the lead scientists, is trying to stop people from getting into the escape pods. He's trying to stop people, and basically they just steamroll and go to the pods. You see an exterior view from a camera built into one of the walls of the domes by basically at the spaceport. All the escape ships that you see leaving, 2 from one of the escape pod bays and 2 from another, are blown apart by the static discharge of the ion drive. So he was trying to save them because he knew that it was going to be too much ionic discharge.
That was a pretty shitty design.
You also see that some of the people are trapped in different places. You also see for the first time what appear to be convicts running down the halls. Look back at the screen, you'll see that there's number for secondary personnel. You actually see on the back, these guys are wearing prison jumpsuits.
I thought this was a civilian vessel.
All right, Amy, can you give me a video feed then of the test subject still alive? You said in the lobby or waiting room?
That was in the cafeteria.
That was actually, I think, when I referenced Buddy. But you're asking about the resident?
Yeah.
She referenced a resident.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be the resident of this current science station other than myself. A test subject, since experiments no longer conductive, he has remained here, conscious and active for 80 years.
Could I see a video of said resident?
You see, she says, most video recording devices in Lab 1 and 2 are no longer operational. Last perceived photo. You see a picture pop up, and you see a guy carrying a bunch of boxes. He appears to look kind of like an emaciated, like that. His skin withdrawn, kind of gray and almost, like not even tan anymore.
So he's a
This
ghoul.
is a
Basically.
successful experiment?
Amy says, according to records,
He
long
lived for
term.
80 years, yeah.
But,
Yeah,
and he's
that's true.
carrying, and you realize these boxes probably are pretty heavy, but he doesn't seem all that bothered by it. He just walks by. Picture taken 21 years ago. That last seen photo.
Hey, that's pretty good for 60 years in alone in a station.
Yeah,
Last message received
it's like some sort
from
of super
resident
soldier
6
program.
hours ago.
Oh, what was said message?
Due to protocol, all residents were notified of incoming ship. That you realize that's standard protocol.
That was us.
Yeah, but she notified the resident of incoming ship. His response was an audio message. Excellent news. I welcome some visitors. It has been a long time. Tell them if they are able to visit me in the Lab 1, I offer my assistance.
Hey, sounds like one of Solo's old voices.
A little bit.
Sounds evil.
All right, folks. So my general idea is if she really wants to get out of here and download into another program, I have my old AI set up in storage because I upgraded the AI for the ship. So I have the old one that she could fit in.
Wait, what?
At the first station, I upgraded all the ship's computers, and I put the old computer into storage when I transferred it all up to an updated
okay,
computer
yeah.
system.
Oh, Amy then tells you, Bingo can act as a computer processor for my data core.
Oh, perfect.
So basically, she's like, I can even use his photonic discharge to project myself.
Hologram dog?
Do you actually ask her that?
So he's like a hologram projector, but also a dog?
Not exactly.
So what
Bingo
what
was
is
experiment for long-term animal travel and transport to other planets. Because of that, he required another form. You see, after a moment, Bingo all of a sudden turns blue completely. And he's basically, you see that he is now a blue dog with ionic discharge coming off of him. Meant to endure. Landing in foreign planets.
Laser dog.
Photonic. As she corrects you.
Photon dog.
Impressive.
And a moment later, he reverts back to his other form.
Well, should we go meet with this other inhabitant then? If he knows the ins and outs of the station, he'd be able to help us out a lot more.
I currently have video recording devices in both routes to get there. She then pulls up a schematic of the building, and that's what, according to her, are all the functioning doors are green. The non-functioning doors, she says that either due to damage and or faulty fuses, she is unable to access and or control them. She says there are 2 routes to get to the engine room and bridge required for repairs to the system. You will have to go through Lab 1, but the 2 routes are the upper annex or through the living quarters. It is your choice how to approach, showing video feed from 2 locations. You see that in the living quarters, which appear to be a bunch of buildings, basically, from what you're seeing. You actually see a bunch of all the blue coat wearing scientists stumbling around. You can ask Amy.
Hey, Amy, right?
Yes.
Sort of like,
that is my
I'll sort of like
designation.
kneel down to the AI's eye level, be like, point back up at the thing. So I thought, weren't all the personnel in this vessel supposed to be deceased? What's the
She
deal?
kind of glitches out for a
What's
moment.
the deal with all of the blue coats stumbling around?
She says, data not fully recognized. From knowledge. You see kind of a glitch out again. And then she says, SCS security researchers, military, were you see it kind of glitch out again. Vaccinated before travel. You see her kind of glitch out again. She says,
Okay, but regardless of that,
you realize that
these guys should be 80 years old and probably dead. Why are they walking around?
The isolation freeze affected where they were.
Oh.
They were, at time, off duty in living quarters. During times of alarms.
When the whole catastrophic whatever went down, they were frozen in place?
That is accurate.
Oh, I thought they were like zombies.
They are no longer living.
So they are zombies.
They were given a vaccine. Test subject. The voice actually glitches out now. Vaccine, subject test, and CS wide group testing.
As I understand all these terms.
She basically says, would you like to hear auto recording?
So they were tested on?
Sure.
You hear a voice now.
Which room are these guys in again?
The living quarters?
Basically, you hear an audio recording play. I did what we had to do. I dosed them like I was told to. You hear kind of an Asian voice saying, that is exactly right. And you see a video recording. It looks like basically Ken Sullivan doped the SCS researchers.
Oh.
He gave them a sample of the drug for group testing.
Oh, the thing they were working on at the station? Oh.
He actually doped them. He says, and you hear Amy then explain as she shows you a photo of the living quarters. All 12 SCS researchers have been test subject vaccine trial worker bee program. Designed to at least get rid of dead bodies by reanimating for the reasons of transport. Problem, central nervous system did not deactivate, causing them to give basic human need, the urge to feed.
Cool. So, space zombies was not on my bingo list for this mission.
The other route
But here we
is to
are.
get through the upper annex.
What's in there?
You see what appears to be another video show up. And in this one, it appears to be a kind of either a mining area or a lab area, but it's pretty destroyed. But you don't see anything as you approach that one.
No figures or
Not
whatever?
that you can see. Make a perception check to try to get a better angle. And as you can tell, the 12 people in the living quarters are all pretty rotted.
21.
like they've been walking around reanimated for days and are just kind of falling apart. They wouldn't take much to kill.
Okay.
What'd you roll?
21 on analyzing the other area.
Jesus. You do see basically a dresser goes flying across the view camera of the screen, and appears to be two shadows are moving in the background. Because mind you, this is one camera angle, not like 17 by different view. So you can and you do hear some audio recording from the device dictating heavy footsteps.
Alright, so we've got hostiles in both rooms. It's either a matter of going through those old dead scientists or whatever's throwing around furniture in that room.
Alright, so looking at these doors that are available, you have any thoughts?
She's still just paying attention to Bingo,
Okay.
to be honest.
So,
The puppy has her distracted.
personally, from what I'm seeing, the first things we need to do is fix the engine room. Correct?
That is the engine room, and then the bridge for the approval for the transfer.
Okay. So, what is blocking the door to E-Pod 1?
E-Pod 1.
I didn't really look at it earlier, so
E-Pod 1 fused by remains of one of the escape craft. Escape craft landed on transport hallway. No access.
Is the hallway still sealed or open?
Checking.
Oh, wait, I finally got it.
Hallway Hallway does not have contained atmosphere. Suspected breach.
Okay.
Dumb question, just because I'm finally looking at this.
Ah,
So, the green doors are the ones that work, the red doors are the ones that don't.
Yep.
What's with the yellow hallways?
those are service tunnels.
Oh, okay.
Underground service tunnels that are not connected to the main hallways.
Okay.
Okay. So,
So we're here.
yeah. So my first thought is we have equipment. If we can make a secondary seal around that door and be able to just access straight over to the bridge, it might involve a little bit of a spacewalk, but that would probably be the smartest way to go. At least see what systems we can get control of, get this power situation worked out first,
We get the power.
and then we can work on the whole...
We get the power working. We can get some of the out of commission doors to maybe work. I'll turn to Andy. Like, I could go in to supervise you if you wanted to try to put together a patch job on this hallway real quick.
Um,
Can we have like a persuasion or something?
yeah, you can basically try.
Got +1 to charisma, so 15.
So you basically want to try to force the door?
No.
Okay.
I want to create a... We would have to make a staging area around it, like an airlock, if there's no atmosphere behind it. So I would either have to stage that, or I can go outside and we can try and get access to it that way.
Is the room inaccessible because there's stuff blocking it, or is it inaccessible because it's open space?
The
Both.
hallway's been vented.
Okay.
And the remains of the escape pod up against the door frame. Significant debris. Space pod designed for 8 people, including auxiliary engine.
We'd have to blast our way in, and that's not a very smart idea.
Structural integrity of building would fail. Mission would be compromised. Only available direct routes are through the living quarters or the upper atrium.
Is the bridge sealed currently?
As far as sensors can tell, it is sealed, yes.
So if we wanted to get to the bridge, we'd basically have to do a big loop around the station through these accessible doors.
Yep. Or I hop out, bust open the window for the bridge, hop in that way, reseal it, and then see what we get control of while a secondary team takes care of the
hostiles?
Sweep and clear to try and open the way up, kind of thing. It's an option. Because the first thing, we're going to want to get control of that bridge as soon as possible.
That's true.
Okay, and from what I'm seeing here from the path, that's a long-ass trip to get to there. And from what we saw from the video of the bridge, there's nobody in there. So if we were to drill a hole in the side of it to bring ourselves in, even if I just brought a drone in, we get remote access to everything in the bridge at least. And that would give us a lot more control.
Please be advised. Right now with ionic drive manifold degradation, an enhanced static discharge might be possible. Attempting to enter from the exterior of the building might increase its conductiveness. Any significant energy source that approaches the degrading ionic field discharge will be targeted by the ionic discharge.
So a drone wouldn't be a good idea.
Definitely, but there was no ionic charge on the bridge. That was stated at the beginning. When we went by it.
But unfortunately, due to increased degradation, ionic discharge is increasing. Attempt to board through a vessel might result in that being energy targeting.
So a vessel or a drone wouldn't be a good idea, but a person might be able to. Our suits don't conduct energy. Well,
the
not a
ionic
whole
discharge goes to objects on the exterior. Lot. So you'd be better off with a drone. Because
in other words, don't go outside and do it that way. Because I didn't write that in. Okay, got it.
I feel like we are being explicitly told not to do that. And our attempts to figure out how to do it aren't really working.
Not really.
Alright, let's go punch some zombies.
You guys have
Knuckles, you want to have some fun? Open the door, let Knuckles in there, and just say, go nuts. Unless you guys want to.
And I was ready to...
Go for it.
I was ready to clear out a room if need be.
Go for it.
Okay, so which room do you guys want to go into?
I figure we're going to have a lot easier of a time with the frail, rotting, reanimated scientist than whatever the hell's throwing around furniture in the other room.
That's fair.
At least in the living quarters, you know roughly what you're getting into.
I don't want to walk into the... What was it, the atrium or whatever? I don't want to walk into the other room and fucking fist fight the Hulk. I value my life.
Amy, you said these are the only two life forms here, right?
No. Multiple other life forms. The resident is the only permanent life form. Next to that, just anywhere. Other biological objects.
Where's the resident again?
The resident is in Lab 1.
Oh, okay.
And Lab 4 is where the last known location of person who's now missing is.
Alright, well, we're going to pass through Lab 4 to get to the bridge, I think.
Okay.
I think. I'm going to be honest, I'm a little confused on the layout.
What?
I'm a little confused on the layout.
We're here.
Yep.
There's so many
We have
beds
green
here.
doors and red doors. Red doors don't open. Okay? So I'm not allowed to go out that way. So what we'd have to do is go to living quarters and then down to Lab 1. Cleaning out the front annex would be another job that would need to be done, but it doesn't have to be done right away because it doesn't connect out to anything.
Yeah.
And then Lab 2. And then from Lab 2, we can choose between going all the way to Lab 3, or we can go to the annex here.
Okay.
Okay, but the annex here would give us the access to the engine room so we can get that done. So that's what we're going to want to do
Alright, cool.
as soon as possible. The annex wouldn't give us the access over there anyway.
Alright.
And then from there, we can take the service tunnel to the engine room. So it's just a matter if we want to check out these rooms or not.
Well, Lab 1 was where the other guy was. Lab 4 was the last known location of that other... the scientist, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if we have a resident who's been here for a while and is sitting in Lab 1, why haven't they done the rediversion? Because Amy apparently knows how to do it.
Maybe we should go ask that resident on our way.
Yeah, I'm not so sure the resident's as much of a resident as you think it is. But we'll see. I'm just paranoid.
That's fair. It's space. Shit goes wrong all the time.
So,
Alright, we have any non-combatants that want to sit this out, or...?
Just Andy. I think would be the only one.
yeah, I'm going to stay basically to the back.
Bingo protects Andy.
Good boy.
Okay, and I have
I'll try to pet him one last time.
Did you roll a 1?
No, I rolled an 8. Which is the same thing I rolled the first
He just
time.
recoils from you.
Alright, I'm gonna stop trying to pet the dog because it's just
You
not
want to
working
send out
out.
your Knuckles on a Die Hard route first?
Animal
I'm gonna
handling
wait
is
until
not
the other
my
ones
strong
just-
suit.
Everyone else, because everyone else seems to want to have fun killing them.
Okay. Yeah, it won't be hard. These guys are rotting. They're just basically reanimated. But you're first, Fee. Go ahead.
I am.
So should we breach the door or try
Eat
to?
cherry.
The door's motion censored. You walk up to it and it just opens.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
none of
shoot
these
with
are
the weather gun I have.
The weather gun?
The weather
It's
gun.
the ice pellet gun.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
It does ice damage. It doesn't do physical
How many
damage.
attacks do I get with it?
It was like one.
Yeah, you get
round.
the one shot, but you could guess
Okay.
throw a couple of like, the cryo BBs in there.
Yeah. The one that's like directly in front of me.
Okay.
What do I add to it? My dex and stuff?
Yeah, it'll be dex and wisdom for firearms.
13.
That hits. Roll damage.
Oh, wow, these guys have a low AC.
No, they're not. They're just shambling around. As you guys open the door, they start shambling towards you,
5.
but... Okay. So, the one in the front gets knocked down by your bullet. He's still trying to shamble up, but that's about it. Your turn, man.
Not a bullet, it's a...
Oh, by the ice
It's
pellets.
the freeze ray,
Oh,
basically.
so that makes more sense. He falls over frozen, but
Uh-huh.
he's still kind of shambling over.
So I'm gonna grab my I give a fancy name, the quad barrel pyro handgun, which is
Yep.
the strength save pistol.
Okay.
And I'm gonna fucking breach the door, a battle cry.
Okay.
Um,
And we named it to the freeze gun.
I'm gonna,
It's not a weather gun.
I'll try to step up to hereish and
Okay.
then just blast this dude down, and hope he maybe takes a couple guys down with him.
Okay, go for the roll.
I'll use 2 of the 4 shells. 18.
Yeah. Honestly, these guys don't have much of an AC. They're not attempting to defend themselves. They're wearing a science lab suit. They have no armor. They're just...
Can't tell if it's a 6 or it's a D6, so it's clearly a 6, so it's a very, very high number.
You blow his head off. His body goes flying back, knocks over this one guy, and stumbles on this guy. Your turn, Fee. I'm sorry. You're in the back?
I'm sitting back waiting. Let me know when you guys are done, and I'll just let Knuckles take care of the rest. You see Knuckles just kind of vibrating back and forth.
You could send the drone
getting ready
in.
to go.
There you go.
On your rotation then.
Oh, okay. So, Rand runs forward. And cleaves the guy in half. You watch as though, and Fee, make a perception check.
19?
Oh, you could have made an advantage too. You realize that once you watching the bodies, you watch as it appears nanotech is what was reanimating these people, attaching to their nervous system.
She's gonna immediately go up to the one that she shot and like start like pulling apart its body to see the nanotech.
There are other shambling things around too, but you can do that on your
yeah,
turn.
but that
On your
one's
turn.
also laying down in defenseless too, so
Yep. So, but you can do that in just a moment.
you can't say no.
Okay. All these guys shamble over, but none of them get even close enough to attack you. Make a perception check. Everyone can.
22.
Yes, you made it.
Since she's standing far back enough, can
You
she
made
like pull out her bulky tablet and just take a note? Nanotech can be used to reanimate dead.
That's a no. But yeah, sure.
What?
Well, you don't do so well with digging into the one that you shot. It's kind of starting to get up because you watch as it doesn't seem to be phased by its body, but you see that the nanite appears to be basically attached to their brainstem. But as you see the body that Rand cut in half, it just kind of falls out of the side of their neck when they're dead. It seems like it cannot sustain bodily damage. It needs a nervous system to work with. Your turn, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they rolled shit. I rolled.
Cyber zombies.
Yeah, basically.
Cool. So I'll rush out towards this group then.
If you hit this guy, you can knock him back into maybe 2 guys.
Alright.
I make a fate roll to see how far he goes back. But would you made
Alright.
your perception check?
Yeah, 22.
16.
You never made the perception. Oh, is that the one?
1.
Okay.
And not 1.
Oh, yeah, make another roll then. Because it was your turn, I thought you were doing that for your checking out the zombie guts, but...
No, that was my perception.
Okay, sorry. So yeah, you're blind. Nothing. The zombie right in front of you. That's all you see. Nothing else. You guys see what appear. You can hear it more than you can see it.
Oh no, it's going to the cabinet.
Which mini has he been looking forward to using for a while that he's gonna pull out?
The T-Rex is still there, so.
You watch a significantly different. You hear something approaching the group from behind.
All right.
But so what did you want to do for your turn?
I mean, I'm blind right now, so
Yeah.
I can't check out the zombie like
Nope.
I wanted to.
No.
So I'm just. Can
You want to make a medical check on? You can actually try to seep up some of that nanotech stuff.
Yeah, sure.
Because honestly, we won't need your help in combat in a minute. I can do
Yeah,
that.
you came out with a 1 on checking what the other zombies were doing, not on your
Yeah. So
check of the zombie.
go ahead and roll.
And since it's like a nanotech thing.
Advantage. Or no.
Where'd it go?
It's right here.
Your dice is so excited that it even runs away from you to be rolled.
Okay, and
Off the coffee.
what do I add?
Be
Well,
intelligence.
I think you said it was a medical check?
Yep.
That's a wisdom, I think.
Oh, wisdom.
Yeah, medicine is wisdom.
21.
You're able to get a sample, and you can still see that it does have some power left in it. It just kind of deactivated itself when it couldn't work with the broken nervous system. But you managed to get a good sample.
She's gonna take out her own oven mitt thing that she had when they first found her and just sort of plop it in there.
Okay,
She's using it as a mini bag.
that works. It appears to be a lot darker than the nanotech you've experienced before. Your nanotech that you've experienced kind of has a glossy because you've used it for hair color and stuff.
Yeah.
This is rather metallic. Looks almost like black metal flakes.
So it's like
And
the
it's in
stuff
that
that
form.
her parents would have been taught on.
Yes, this is
Okay.
more their style than yours.
Yeah.
So industrial.
So, your
So
turn. Sorry
seeing
about
this,
that.
no, it's fine. It's fine. So seeing this giant group in front of me, I'm gonna level the gun and I'm gonna fire all 4 shells to try to knock down the whole group. I am gonna like plant my feet and stuff because
Okay. Yeah. You got. Okay. Make the shot. Let's see if you hit, and then make a strength check.
I don't think I do. 12.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Now, granted, it doesn't do much for setting them flying.
Okay.
But now roll your strength
I'll
check.
make the strength save. You can set the DC for whatever you want. I can tell you with certainty I didn't make it.
What'd you roll?
Let's see here. Could we call it an athletics roll?
Sure.
10.
You know what? It doesn't knock you on your ass, but you go flying back about 7 feet, and you're kind of disbalanced, and your next attack will be a disadvantage.
Can I still roll damage for that one?
Yes.
I don't know how many guys it hit, but...
It hit 2 guys.
I think these guys are shredded. Yeah, it's gonna be over 20 damage.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, Jesus, really? Okay. Yeah, so you shred these 2 guys. Their bodies drop.
Because it's a d6 plus a d8 for every shell.
You want to do anything?
I'm just watching.
Okay.
So you just watch me run up to this group, go BANG!
But now you actually do hear now that something else is attacking this group. As you watch, you can see this, you hear this. From where you're at, you can't actually see them. There was a building here. But you can actually hear what sound like zombies being thrown, and you can see all your guys. And you can vaguely see that these 2 zombies in the back. Basically, you see a zombie go flying as a kind of 6.5 foot tall, creepy looking gray humanoidish creature attacks them. Both of the zombies in the back are getting shredded right now by these guys that seem like their hands don't move. They're just in like a kind of claw-like shape, and they're just ripping apart these zombies.
Is that the resident?
You don't know. These things look like they've been... You can almost see the moisture on them, like they just woke up as well.
Oh, okay.
You don't know if they're hostile yet, but they don't seem to be giving you any mind. They're just ripping apart the reanimated, as far as you can tell.
Okay.
So yeah. A zombie does take a swing at one of these creatures, but they're pretty agile. He's able to dodge it. One takes a swing at Ran, and the other walks up towards you, but doesn't get to you in his turn.
Square up. I will fist fight the zombie.
So, Fee, your turn.
Do I see these bigger ones?
Make a perception check.
Add wisdom to perception,
Yep.
right? 11.
Yep. Now that you can see them, and you did see a zombie go flying, that wasn't you.
Can I try using my sniper gun?
Sure.
Okay, I'm gonna step just slightly closer to them, and since he's gonna fist fight
Well-
that zombie.
You have a zombie right in front of you. You're gonna have to walk by. He's gonna get it. He'll try to swing at you if he can.
Okay, then I'll swing at him with my staff.
Okay, that's fine.
The first attack.
Like you're actually walking through someone. I can't not tell you that something's gonna happen with that.
Add my dex to it, right?
Yep.
Okay, is it dex and strength or
It'll be Dex and Con for melee attacks.
dex and con? Con. 11?
Yep.
Okay, so that's the first one.
Love these reanimated rotting corpses. They're not
What's
dead.
their AC? 10?
Yeah.
Oh.
It really is. These guys are just fodder.
9. So 11 and 9.
For damage?
I get 2 attacks with my staff.
Oh.
I'm smacking the zombie.
The 11
2
one
times.
hits.
The 9 doesn't.
The 9
Okay.
doesn't.
And do I need... And I roll a d8.
Yep. Yep.
9, and do I need to roll odds or evens to see which side it gets hit with?
Either way, I'm not gonna lie, you're gonna kill it.
Okay.
So as you swing your staff, you just bash its head, and it just cricks and then drops.
You go to hit it again and you miss because it's fallen.
Yeah.
You see that these two other creatures seem to be squaring off on the zombie. They seem to be ignoring you right now. You can see that from where you're at. What are you going to do? There's one more zombie standing.
I guess I'll kind of try to reorient myself, and
You can hop over the corpse.
I'll do a military hop over the corpse, and then I'll, rolling a shot with a gun at disadvantage probably isn't a wise choice. So I'm just gonna try to fucking shoulder charge this thing.
Go ahead.
Just knock it to the ground. How frail it is.
Yeah. You
Roll that an athletics roll.
Sure.
12.
Yep. Roll a d8. Tell me if you roll over 6 or higher.
1.
Okay. You do shoulder tackle it, and although you watch as its arm kind of breaks, its ribs break, it's still kind of standing. You're just chilling?
I'll move forward a little bit so I can get a better view.
You do now, as you approach, do see that there's one damaged zombie, and these two seem to be attacking this one.
Yep.
They don't seem to be giving you much mind.
I'm just watching.
Okay. Yeah. Ron basically just takes the butt of his sword, not even the end, and just smashes the zombie against the wall, killing it. Yeah, this
A little dizzy, but like, nice job, Fossil.
Thanks, Reynolds. As you watch as this more gangly, grotesque thing sticks its hands inside the zombie's chest and rips it in half. Like, without question. But then, as the other one looks up to see you guys, they both take 2 steps back. And they start cowering.
Greetings, strangers. Do you speak?
You see that the 2 of them just start cowling. They're not really hissing at you. They're more like just kind of passively. As you guys hear footsteps.
Do you dream electric dreams?
They just are looking at you. Their eyes look huge and dilated. And they
Do you
kind of
want
look
to dream of zombie sheep?
But then you hear a voice call out as you hear the footsteps of, "Greetings."
Greetings and salutations, dear sir.
He doesn't seem fazed by you pointing a gun at him.
Still in combat mode.
Yeah. You may relax. The fellow task subjects will not harm you. They look at me like an elder. You see him actually kind of whistle or grunt, and both these 2 creatures, in a way that I can't say is anything else other than creepy, start to move backwards and end up going down the small alleyway that you would be surprised that they fit. And they're gone. I do not mean to startle you, and I apologize for my appearance and that of the other test subjects.
Why would you apologize for your appearance?
I can understand it might be unsettling, but I was once human.
Aren't you still human?
Oh, don't worry. I've seen worse.
He looks at you. In a manner of speaking, I have been here a long time.
You're the other subject the computer was talking about?
Yes, I believe she designates me as a resident. I have been awake and alert since the day of the, what does she call it?
Event?
Basically, scientists trying to play God.
Oh, isn't that normally the way?
Surprisingly common.
It is.
Or unsurprisingly common.
So,
you actually notice at this point that he's wearing what appears to be actually a science outfit that just looks kind of old and raggedy that's been layered on. Like, there's actually like 5 layers of science robes that he's been whatever.
Well then,
outfits.
since it's been a while since you've had actual company they can talk to, let me ask, what was your name before resident?
It's been a long time.
Do you remember it anymore?
I think it was Laza.
Laza.
Yes.
That's
that is
much
my
cooler
name.
sounding than resident.
He says that the AI does not have much of imagination, but I am amazed that she's been able to keep the ship together as long as she has. It is my own little refuge. I do not mind having my space, but I understand things have gotten dire. I've seen the readings myself.
Yeah, we can help you fix it.
If you wish to, after the work is done, if you wish to leave the station in accordance with Coalition, what was the thing that you called it when we found Fee?
Coalition Castaway Protocol?
In accordance with the Coalition Castaway Protocol, we are able to give you food and board aboard our ship.
You see him actually looking at you kind of oddly for a moment, and then he says, I have seen you on the broadcast recently.
Oh, you've been watching What the Fuck?
Yes, I built an antenna a few decades ago so I could read and act as a relay. I saw castings.
What's your favorite show so far?
You see him think back. I have watched it. You actually said, please come with me to where I live. If you'd like to come to the lab.
If you don't mind me asking you a few questions first.
As you wish.
How much of this infestation is around the whole rest of the place?
These were the only ones given the concept of vaccine before their departure.
Okay.
And then what about the, what was that, in the atrium was where the other things were?
Ah, yes, those were the test subjects of Lab 2.
Yeah, what's the deal with them? We couldn't get a good read on that situation, which is why we came through here.
That was the genetic manipulation for long-distance space travel. I was a member of test subject of the Lab 1, the one that was involved with chemical testing. We weren't like the Lab 3. They were the death row inmates that came, given by the penal colony.
Alright, what was Lab 4 working on?
Lab 4 was the miscellaneous weapons and tactics projects.
Is that where the dog got made?
Yes. I see he is still alive. You see the dog isn't really growling at Laza, but he certainly ain't going much closer. Mind you, you guys can see now that you're actually talking to Laza, he is very emaciated. It doesn't, and you can actually see kind of almost that look kind of gross, black track lines of what we would call veins. Like he is not pumping regular blood. But he then says, is there any other questions I can assist with? If you are willing to redirect the energy, that will allow me to power up my antenna and see you as you travel across the cosmos on your channel.
Oh, we can fix up your antenna. Don't worry about that. We want to get the station working fine first. In fact, the better we can get it working, the better it'll work for all of us, I think.
That is true. If you'd like, I can provide you with easier access to the station. I travel it much. I have plenty of time.
I bet you do. So, what's the quickest way to the bridge and the engine room then from here?
Well, it depends. are you looking to get some things while you are here, or if you're willing to help me get some things?
Let's make things as simple as possible. If we can stabilize the power here, then we have time to loot as much stuff as we want. But if we don't fix it, then everything's going to go
Yeah,
boom.
I did say that the photonic thing outside was getting worse by the minute, so...
Understandable.
So let's get the work done first, and then we can go to the fun stuff. Does that sound good to everyone else?
It's fine, baby. I'd rather not blow up, so...
He says that if you are willing, I can get you, basically as he describes, the causeway between Lab 1 and the rear annex is down. It was crushed in a landslide. Kilotons of stone. No way to get through. But if you want to head to the rear atrium, this causeway, you'll have to go into Lab 2. You see him actually look at you now. You see him wave his hand. And what color's your hair?
Using her original hair color, or
The one you have now.
Okay, so she's using nanotech to have it a salmon red.
You notice, and you guys can make a perception check to see, as he waves his hand, you do see what appears to be a bracelet, kind of like a iPhone strapped to his arm.
She looks at it. Can she? Perception?
Yep, but your hair is turning colors. It's now pink, now red, now green, and then goes back to your salmon red.
How did you do that?
He looks at you. Dear child, I have had decades to study nanotech. It's not that you're using it, I have to admit that uniquely, but open your mind, the potential is far more.
This guy's
Looks
creepy.
Looks like Cherry made a friend.
Do you want to see some of the eye contacts I've made? Out of nanotech.
Sure,
Okay.
if you wish to show him.
She still has like one case, so she's gonna bring it up to him.
While this is going on,
She's just gonna walk.
I'm typing out a message to my ship to send one of the drones into the atrium. Once the entryways for the atrium are closed, I want him to find whatever is throwing stuff.
How are you getting there? The atrium is blocked off.
The atrium has an open door here. It opens up.
Yeah, but that
It's
goes
green.
down. Oh, to the annex.
Yeah.
Yeah, the atrium doesn't
Yeah,
have any
sorry.
access points.
The annex.
Oh, you want to go to
Okay.
the
The
front
annex that
annex?
has something chasing around and
Yeah.
being a bit asshole through it. Okay. And he just said that the entryway between to the atrium went out with the landslide, right?
Well, that was the Lab 1 to the rear annex.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I misunderstood.
No problem. So basically, he says that due to the landslide, if you're trying to avoid the front annex, you'll have to go through Lab 2. However, and he says that from Lab 2, you have to go through the rear annex right to the engine room. But if you go through Lab 3, there is something I think of great value to you. As he points at you.
And she's sitting in front of him now, trying to show him the eye contacts.
He looks at him. You see him actually start typing on his pad, and you watch him kind of... You remember that little sample you had? A little bit comes out, and you watch as it goes into his hand, a little spark shoots off from his, basically his wristlet, and he creates a little contact of black nanotech. That's almost identical to yours, only it's black.
Can she like
Sure.
sort of like reach out to it?
Yeah, it looks just like yours, except that it's a lot darker. It's not the clear kind of epoxy color.
She's
There's
gonna
no
put it
dye.
in.
Do you already have one in your eye? Let me just ask that right now, because that would just hurt you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so don't do
but-
that. Don't do that.
Okay, so she can take out.
It'll
her
try to
photo.
bond with the contact, not your eye. Don't
Hold
do
on. I'll take off my helmet. You can try it on me if you want.
Okay, so she's gonna go up to him, hold open his eyelid, and just.
When you close
Put it
your
in.
when you close your right eye, you have night vision.
Whoa. Everything's green.
Wait, so she's gonna look back at him. I should have asked before I did that. So is that gonna last for a year, or is it gonna blind him like mine do to some people?
He looks at you. Would you like to get rid of it?
I mean, no, this is pretty useful, honestly.
It will last for 2 years.
Oh, damn.
How did you make it so
I think you've got some competition. I'll put the helmet back on.
She's like.
That's what happens when you
squinting
have
at him.
real resources
Teach me your
instead of a life
ways.
pod.
It
So
is
come
not
back
as
with us. Teach me your ways.
I have no wish to leave my perfect isolation. I was used as a test subject once. I do not value it again.
You enjoy isolation?
He kind of shrugs and says, you get used to it and it becomes comforting in time.
Well, maybe you'd better enjoy management.
He says that existence is enough for him. And he says that...
Suck for you soon.
But he says that if you are
It's gonna suck
interested,
for me.
For him.
Oh.
if you had time to study it,
Are we like actually gonna kidnap him?
Oh, we should.
I don't have a whole lot of want or use for him. He kind of creeps me out, but if you guys want him to go for it, I won't be
And you can find him
opposed
useful.
to that.
as he told you,
But-
he doesn't wish to leave.
Yeah.
He just
But-
wants to live in his residency.
I'm looking at space.
Oh.
And she's
But
just
real estate.
rambling on about what she's
He tells you that if you
Took me a
want
second.
the
I'm a creative
potential
guy.
to do more with nanotech, it requires this. And you see him actually pull out a vial of his own, and it's a black nanotech, but it's circling his hand. It's almost as if it changes shape to a wheel, to a square, to a triangle. He says that your idea is good, but it's limited by your imagination. Nanotech is microbots. Nanotechnology can do so much more than dyeing hair. You guys, he has no hair. Like, he's bald as shit. But then he says, but if you go into lab 3, there's a supply of this nanotech. Should be enough to experiment with some to spare for you. He then tells you, you actually see one of the cameras that Amy was using, but this time she's not. He actually opens up in his pod, like he kind of hacked it. And you see inside of lab number 3 on a table is a black metal cube with a little reading and a little scanner on it. He says, this is... No, that'd be totally bad. He tells you, this is a concentrated nanotech. Enough for you to do whatever you wish.
Can I pay you for it? It would feel wrong.
I do
just to
not
take it.
require money. I have been through this station many times. I am more happy someone is able to utilize it for the future.
How about food? Tasty.
How have you been living out here all these
scrumptious
years?
Oh,
food
He kind of looks at you.
Do you want a stun knife?
with flavor.
Quick, give
He
me
looks
bricks.
at you.
The
Ah,
bricks.
yes.
The food bricks.
Food. That is not something
I don't know, I
I
thought you saved a
require
couple.
now.
She did.
That's sad.
She's gonna pull out one of her food bricks.
He politely declines it and tells you,
does
I
bring
do
you
not
joy?
require food.
I don't know what it is.
I mean, it's like 50 years old too, so.
Well, what does bring you joy? What, do you like enjoy getting like lost in MMOs or something?
He mentions that I live in my isolation and am able to with my antenna monitor. I do sometimes think about my family, but it has been many years and they might not be alive now.
Do you enjoy monitoring?
He meant,
Sorry, you first.
Good.
I was gonna say, if you want us to maybe check in on your family, even if the ones you knew aren't around anymore, their descendants might be, we could use some of the coalition's resources to just look into like an identification thing.
would you mind if you are willing? I would like news of home. I can monitor all the surroundings traffic of ships from wherever I am located, but I haven't been able to find out news of my family on Earth. If you don't mind, and I'll give you the technology to use as you wish, if you set up a relay system every 3 colonies,
Have you been enjoying what the fuck?
it is the most entertaining thing I have seen in decades.
Just gonna,
Then I might have a job for you, if you're interested.
I would be happy to use this as a relay if you wish.
Oh, fantastic. I need someone that can monitor the station and keep things playing on it.
If you are willing to set
So I
up
don't have to.
relays to Earth for me, I will help you.
Oh, definitely.
I was gonna say, if you also,
You can make a con check to see if he's honest, but he does appear to be.
I was gonna say also, if you just give us a full family name, I can look into the databases and the right ID and stuff. We could maybe just get a read on the situation.
Although I appreciate the effort, just setting up relays, I have had plenty of time to understand scanning technology. I would just appreciate the chance to catch for news of my family, to see if I still have a family on Earth. He does actually look
Just
almost
offering-
sobby.
Just
He looks
off-
like he's sobbing.
Just offering to help.
I appreciate. But if you are willing to travel to reset the relay,
We're already headed to Earth, so we can just drop them off at the next couple of colonies we pass on our way.
He tells you in engineering, and he looks over at your big drone. That should be able to transport with no issue. They're relays, and you may keep one for yourself to redesign and break down. The transceiver radio relays the station was equipped with are in the engineering department.
Okay.
And he tells you that you'll recognize a box. There's 4 of them in it. And he says, if you are able to set those for me on the way to Earth, I would greatly appreciate it.
I'd be glad to.
Now I must say, Amy is a smart AI program, but does not have all the deductive reasoning of a human. He opens up a camera.
AI tech is fantastic for many, many things. And there are some things that they're not so good at. You know, nothing is perfect.
He does tell you, just so you are aware. He opens up a camera to the atrium. Now, mind you, this is a camera that looks, you can actually see it looks very blotchy, like he fixed it. Like he's been sitting here doing that kind of shit for the last 8 years. And on the camera, you see what appear to be humanoidish creatures crawling on the walls.
Oh, that's creepy.
I count about 4 of them. It looks like one of the experiments, maybe from Lab 3 or 4, got to some of the escaping civilians. These things are, I'm not gonna lie, I'm using the liquor minis if you guys go that route, so that's what you're gonna be.
Why didn't you vent them?
Unfortunately, ventilation controls are not controllable from anywhere except the bridge. And as the forced isolation freezing systems for each department, the more or less power that's being directed to the subsystems, the more of them that are thawing out.
Why is there an issue with access to the bridge?
Unfortunately, in the hallway of the bridge, there was a slight issue. I managed to, at one point, the system about, you see him think back, and he actually looks like he's thinking about it, 30 years ago. Unfortunately, a creature somehow broke out of the thaw, as you called it. I was a younger man, and I managed to keep him there and breach the system. Unfortunately, I cannot promise that if we enter the bridge and it decompresses, the system will keep him thawed. It is one of the experiments from Lab 3, those vicious murderers.
Okay.
So there's a big thing that could thaw out if we head to the bridge?
It is in the hallway leading to the bridge.
Oh, in the hallway leading to the bridge.
I do not know if you go to the bridge to avoid it. He then all of a sudden pulls up his own version of the map, which actually looks, to be honest with you, hand-drawn, as opposed to the nice digital one that she got. And in it he says, from the engine room, you may take the subway causeway to the bridge and possibly avoid it.
I just wanted to ask, this was a civilian scientific research facility, but I assume you guys had, back when it was functional, some sort of security, small military presence. This place have an armory?
No, it does not.
Damn.
Unfortunately, it was not designed as a military operation. The
prison, but on an armory.
I
can see why this place didn't do so well.
As far as I know, the subjects for Lab 3 were never meant to survive. It was meant as an alternative to death row.
Are prisoners really meant to survive nowadays?
We were in Lab 3.
Oh, you guys are much nicer.
Lab 1. Lab 1, we took demotions and time served for government service. We were only supposed to be here and picked up by a transport after a few weeks. The life was...
Basically, Suicide Squad procedure.
He mentions that we were told there should be no... He waves a hand in front of his own face. Adverse side effects.
Yeah, that's when you know you're fucked. Alright, so then, anything else in this living quarters area that we should be aware of?
There is a storage room. The door for it is fused. I'm not sure why, but there might be supplies in there if you wish to grab any.
Alright, John, cut it open.
Make a roll for your drone, just see how long it takes them.
It has the supplies to do that.
Yeah.
All the drones are outfitted with the same
Rolled a 19.
stuff as the ship is, so.
Before it even lands, the laser beam starts coming out and just starts cutting it perfectly. Within about 17 seconds, the door you hear a slight decompression, and the door's open.
Right? As the door falls.
Yep. Just cut the whole thing right down. It drops. Inside, you see a bunch of boxes. I attempted to go in. I went in there a few decades ago, but everything else should be fine. I was just looking for supplies. It fused after that.
Scan it. Anything in there?
I'll head in and just kind of search through a few things. So we're still kind of going over our
I'm staying
options.
out in the hallway and keeping an eye on everything because I am not comfortable with this situation.
I'm heavily armored. I'll head in. Risk myself.
As all of you have noticed, I'm being much more reserved than usual.
Can I make like an investigation roll?
You want to go in too?
She actually wanted to ask him a question about nanotech then. Since she has somewhat small amount of time.
Sure.
You were able to instantly upgrade one of the eye contacts. So she's gonna point to her skin that she injected nanotech into. So this nanotech I made just to dye the skin, but I wanted to make it so it also protects your skin, kind of like the polish I have, where it hydrates your lips and stuff and adds protecting to it for 3 weeks. How would I make my skin armor with nanotech? Do you need a sample of my skin?
He mentions that.
She holds out a knife in her bare hand.
Where did you get that knife from?
Well, you see him pull out a knife.
That's the regulation.
You see him pull out a knife, and you realize that this knife is made of black metal. It looks to be like it was hand forged. Like you actually see little indentations from a hammer. Like he built it himself. But it's black steel.
Hand here. If you need a sample, you can cut one off of me.
You see, he actually takes the blade and puts it up against his little iPad on his wrist and cuts your skin. You see, as he pulls it out, a couple of particles of colored nanotech are on it. You see him take the knife and kind of all of a sudden holds it flat, and it becomes a little surgical tray, basically. It's only about this big, but the nanotech's in the middle of it. Starts scanning it. It's about. He thinks for a moment how to describe it to you. It's about teaching the nanotech. Teaching it what it needs to do. Skin is an epidermal organ. Increase the molecular density or increase it with energy to make it heal faster. There are options. Only think about teaching the nanotech. It needs to learn. Sorry, now your turn, man. Sorry.
That's fine.
Would you roll?
15 on investigation.
You find what appears to be some basic medical supplies, some chemicals that don't relevate to you, some uniforms, costumes, spare clothes. You do find a research kit. On the research kit, you see this is kind of like an away mission kit, kind of. As you open it up, it looks like some of the things are missing, but what is in there are 2 sets of goggles and what appear to be container of very fancy-looking hypomed shots.
Oh, cool. How many hypomed shots again?
3. And these ones have a yellow and green, circle around them. What's up, brother?
What's up, guys?
Hello. So, just to answer your question before you ask, that's one of it, and the other one's down there.
Okay.
Not the middle one.
The combat adrenaline shots?
Yep.
Okay.
That's what you see in the survival kit. And the Synthoglass tactical.
Alright. Just write it down in here.
Yep. So, do you have anything you want to ask Laza?
No.
Okay. He is looking at your droid kind of amusingly. He makes a comment. So silly compared to the maintenance droids that buzz around here.
Drones are a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Indeed. You actually see him kind of walk past you a little bit and look over at Andy. And I see technology has come to ways in other things, too.
I don't know. I'm just.
What do you mean technology? Andy is a normal guy.
Lazo kind of tilts his head like a confused dog for a moment.
I've already established Reynolds is completely unaware of the fact that Andy is a robot. Also,
as you say, it's all he says as he kind of turns around, confused. He says that, if you'd like, is there anything that I can give you on your way through my lab? It does not look like there might be an easier way across the ship with the damage that occurred during the event and some other things.
Let's get this power situation situated first, and then we can work on the rest from there. So what's the quickest way to the engine room? Let's go that way.
Through my abode, into Lab 2, the rear atrium, and then the engine room.
Does that sound good to you guys?
Yep.
And then we can go through this place afterwards. And clean up whatever's left.
Again, thank you for your assistance.
Oh,
Naza says to you, like as a big group. He's actually making a point.
It's my pleasure. Salvage is fantastic. As I start walking whichever direction I'm supposed to be going.
Yep.
Careful not to step on any of the bodies or in any of the bodies. And taking very detailed scans along the entire process.
Yep. Do you try to have your droid scan any computers? Or are you just scanning?
I'm scanning
Base scan.
basic scanning to see what
Okay.
materials are here, what everything's made out of, what the floor plan is. Basically logging like a videography of the entire list because I'm planning on renovating afterwards.
You want putting it over there? Alright, let's take a quick break before we get to the next phase.
Sure.
That'll be Lab 2.
Alright, then we'll take a break here. We'll be back shortly.